Hello, welcome to episode 64 of the Screen Age podcast. I'm your host, Connor.
And I'm Rodrigo. How did you go
Um,
robotic-y for... The second we started recording, you go robotic-y.
okay. To explain that giant break in that, which is definitely staying in, there is a storm happening outside me, and I'm in an
Yep.
unsheltered county, literally on the coast of Ireland, full blast. Wait a minute again. Full blast of this storm. My Wi-Fi has gone down. I am on my phone hotspot right now. I need an update on my PC. So God knows if this is going to go well or not.
Bear with us. Bear with us. No, yeah, we'll just have to bear through any robotic-y parts or any breakups and just hope that we could muddle through it.
Yeah. And speaking of things you gotta muddle through as well, to quote what Rodrigo has said before this, we don't really have anything fun when it comes to like movies. We kind of have some things in games, TV shows. We have some things in games. We have some cool things. But we're just gonna get movies out of the way because
Yeah.
all it is Batman at the moment, which I'm happy about. It's
Yeah.
on Marvel.
Well, I have a Marvel thing, but yeah, it's pretty much all
Bitch.
Batman at the moment, which, hey, I'm okay with. You
Yeah.
know, Batman is out in like a little under 14 days now, so we're nearly there. We're very close. Very excited for this. I don't know. I have a feeling that it's going to be very good. I could be just me, and hoping that it is good, but all the signs are pointing to the right direction.
Yes, all the signs. A unique Batman voice, good casting by people, and then Paul Dano not being able to sleep after playing a role. All the good shit's here.
All the good shit. I actually saw that, and I saw that on, I can't remember, must have been Instagram or something, and everyone in the comments was like, this could be the greatest movie of all time now. And everyone was like, well, don't we remember the last time someone played a notorious villain and couldn't go to sleep, and all this, and but yeah, I hope he's okay. I hope he's not gonna OD on sleeping meds like someone else did. But
I don't think.
what is it? What is it with these DC villains that they all just end up having some sort of PTSD from playing them?
Look, what it is like you look at Marvel villains. You're not going to get PTSD unless it's for CGI playing Thanos because you have to wear a big old grey and black suit that makes you be seen as something else or wear a giant prosthetic head. You're not going to get PTSD from that, but when you're playing a character who literally has mental problems, who is literally from an insane asylum, who's like the most human you can get when it comes to different character or villains and stuff like that, you're going to like make some weird connections as you play this role.
Yeah,
especially when it's as
definitely,
cerebral as Riddler or Joker.
Yeah, because it probably makes you kind of think about your own like mental health and all that stuff, and you just, because they're such good actors, Heath Ledger and Paul Dano are like, they really get into the role and into the character that they almost kind of start to develop, like almost start to transition into becoming that character in real life. So it must be quite difficult to separate the two, but yeah, I hope it's very good. It looks very good, and Robert Pattinson has like said that, like, when he was worried about watching it fully done and after editing and everything, because he was worried at two things: one, disappointing the fan base, and two, like being the worst Batman ever, which, I mean, if you're worse than George Clooney, you did something wrong.
Oh yeah.
So like the fact that he really actually cares about the role and everything just gives it that bit more of a hope, that it will be good. So I hope.
Yeah, there's kind of like there's two ways looking at it. When you want to like revitalize a character or bring yourself into a character that everyone knows and loves, there's two mentalities, and there's always one that worries me. And it's always really obvious from like early on, and I actually get to it when it comes to TV shows. I do have a big thing that I don't think a lot of people are happy about at all. But it's when you're trying to revitalize a character, you can tell very soon what they want to do with the character, and if they want to make it their own, they can usually do the whole, we want to do something that's completely different, that hasn't been done before, and a new take on this character. Now already that phrase, a new take on this character, will give a lot of people PTSD from whatever remakes that you're associated that phrase with. There's plenty out there you're like, oh god, yeah. But with this, it's a different take on Batman. He's like, you can literally see him, Patterson, getting into like the backstory of it, and even like looking at like even Robin as a character he mentioned in the past as well. He's able to make jokes about the character too, which is always kind of a good thing, because that means that you respect the character enough to be able to like make a few things that you know they will never do. So when it comes to this, you're dead right. I think he's definitely in a good position to play a very good Batman, and there's no way you could be worse than Batman and Robin.
God, no, that was shocking. No, I don't think so. And they've already said that that if this movie's successful, and you know, it does what they're expecting it to do, they will probably give him a trilogy. And they also want to create a Matt Reeves Batverse, not just movies. They also want to do TV shows. I mean, Colin Farrell already has his Penguin TV show, so they're gonna do that. So I think they want to, if this movie is as successful as they're hoping it will be, they're gonna try and build a massive universe around him. Which
like at first when you hear Batman's getting another trilogy, you think Dark Knight. There's no shadow of a doubt in your mind once you hear that. Yeah, automatically it's, okay, Dark Knight. I do think if they are going to make a trilogy, they should absolutely go for this big universe, the Matt Reeves universe, because like, you look at this Batman, it's something else. When you look at him, you look at the posters, and you look at this, like you see Christian Bale's Batman, and like in the first one, you still see him as a hero throughout. Like you see him as this kind of like heroic symbol of hope, especially in the last one where he literally comes back and everyone decides to fight against this massive thing, this massive coercion of people. Like he is in that more of a symbol of hope than anything else. Even in Dark Knight, at the end of it, where he's like, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, that he started getting hunted and stuff like that. People still saw him as like a good guy type of thing, but this, I feel like, will really show that detective side, that gritty side of this universe that I want to see that fleshed out way more.
Yeah, definitely. They're definitely going on a different route with this Batman. I feel like they're really testing the waters with something different, which is always good to see a different portrayal. You know, like we know the Christian Bale Batman worked, we know it was great, but it's good to see different types of Batman portrayed, and because it is that little bit darker, you know, like darker tones and stuff in this film. When they flesh out the TV shows and stuff, it can be that little bit darker, and for that more mature audience that they might be trying to get. And I mean, we all know Gotham is so rich with so many characters, so many stories, so many things that you could just really flesh out this for years, you know, if done correctly, which is always the worry with Warner Bros.
Yeah, that's the thing. I also got to notice with his suit, he has like a collar, like a kind of a high end. I only noticed this now. I was never really looked too closely at it because I want to see as much as I can. When I actually see the movie, yes. But it looks like he can actually turn his head properly, which I think is actually going to be something that I'm really looking forward to, because think back to every Batman, even Dark Knight. he has to move his entire fucking upper body torso just to turn around.
Yeah.
They even make reference to it, I think, in the first one, where it's like it hampers mobility, and he kind of does this all the time type of thing. So
yeah, in the Dark Knight he does get a bit more movement.
Yeah.
In the neck. Yeah.
in the Dark Knight,
But,
I'd
yeah.
like. It's not at the beginning, because even at the beginning he still has like that kind of. He doesn't get an upgrade in that episode or episode. It's a movie.
Yeah, in that movie, yeah, he goes to Lucius Fox and he tells him that he'd be like, you'd be able to look around or whatever.
Yeah, it just won't stop bullet or something like that. Yeah. So like in that he gets the movement type of thing, so it's good. But I'm happier to see that I won't have to go through a movie of him be like, oh, oh,
Yeah,
oh. Like a fucking
that was a big
popsicle.
thing with Michael Keaton's one, because the helmet led to the thing, and it was just literally like a stiff robot. And Patterson actually requested that. He was like, look, we need to have something that I can move my head in.
But it makes sense.
It does, of course. You know, like, you can't be moving the whole body to look left and right. You know, how does he drive? You know, but I like the way we're kind of going. I know, like, the Dark Knight, he is like, you know, only beginning to be Batman, and he's still the new Batman and all. But like, he just throws so much money at the wall in that one, and this one seems like he's just like built everything by hand by himself. You know, look at the Batmobile. It's just the Mustang that he's like upgraded himself. You know, it's not this big fucking tank that was given to him.
Yeah.
So it is kind of more a different one, because one thing with Batman, it's always like, okay, but who dug the big hole in the cave and like built this massive thing underground for him, and no one goes, hey, I built like a cave for him with all these stuff in there. So it kind of seems like he's doing this all just himself, which is you know, different to what we're used to.
That is actually a much better point, because if you go back to like some of the old, like the what you call it, some of this older animated series, his Batcave is like a small walkway and a desktop setup. That's pretty much what a big supercomputer. That's really what it is. Even I think it's the Batman animated series, which I loved. It was literally a little semicircle. And if you go to the Arkham series, it's this like catwalk that haphazardly stuck to the walls. It goes up to one area and it's just one little thing. So like with Batman, or Michael Keaton's Batman, he had a big fucking Lazy Susie for a thermonuclear car, and this huge big thing with multiple layers. And even to an extent, like, they tried mentioning it with the Dark Knight, or the first, or Batman Begins, where it's like, oh, it's just a cave system underneath the place, and they built something down before to mine and stuff else. So I was like, okay, that's at least there. But then the next one, he has another underground fucking thing with the tank and all his gear in there. So someone had to build a secret underground thing for him to go, oh yeah, I'm gonna go here and do it and all. So yeah, it's a good, because he builds all his gadgets, so it's cool. I never actually thought of that.
Yeah, because like, you could always say, oh yeah, he's so smart, he can do it on his own and all this, and he probably could, but realistically he wouldn't, because even like requesting all these ridiculous items and stuff, people get suspicious. But like, yeah, I like it. And when they released the pictures of the Robert Pattinson suit, there was, I think they confirmed it, but I can't remember if they did or didn't, the bat signal, or the bat signal he has on his chest is made out of the pistol that killed his parents, which is, you know, always really cool to think about. But yeah, I'm just really excited, because it just seems like a really young Batman, just really fresh. Like, we just see him from the beginning. Yeah, I'm really excited for this.
Probably last thing on this, because I can't see us talking about him for much longer. There was the whole kind of, not controversy, but scandalous idea that Barry Keoghan could be playing the Joker in it. Luckily he's not. I am looking at a headline here that says his role has been officially revealed. I am not looking into it, because I'm starting to hate now what people are doing, and we've discussed this in the past. Something that one of my roommates said to me during the week was like, imagine if you went to Spider-Man No Way Home and they never mentioned anything with the Spider-Man coming back, and then
Yeah.
they just did. Imagine the fucking outcry that would have caused. That
Yeah.
would have been amazing. There's this sorry, I'll restart that sentence. There's such an aura and environment of tell everyone everything so they know what they're getting into when they go into it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, like, I hate how people have to
Yeah.
know. They have to be told everything. They can't fucking think for themselves nowadays.
Yeah, and they can't like that. Yeah, we've talked about this before, and like ruining stuff in trailers and stuff. Like if they would have just shown us like Spider-Man and just be like he's trying to get home and just shows clips of him and like Zendaya and like Aunt May and no villains, nothing. We just don't know anything, and then we show up and it's just it just would have been even better. But people are just kind of like, I need you to tell me stuff that's gonna make me want to go. Or people are just like, so like given a trailer and it's like, whoa, that's great, and then they just, if they're not fed more information, they'll just be like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like, it's so annoying that they have to do that nowadays, that they just have to basically ruin like the excitement, the important stuff in a film. Like even with the Batman, the first trailer I thought was perfect, and we didn't need any more. I thought, and then they released the second one and it was good, and it was like, okay, now I'm really excited. And then they started releasing like full scenes and like extra stuff, clips, and it's kind of like, but like I don't, okay, if you don't want to watch it, you don't watch it, but it's also like you're ruining it, because if you spoil something, now everyone knows. And when you go, the excitement and the fun is gone out of it.
Yeah, because I feel like back a few years back, movies were, you saw a trailer and then you saw it's coming out in a few months' time. You see it's coming out in like 2 or 3 weeks or some shit like that. Nowadays it's like you see a trailer and it says that the release date could be 2026.
Yeah.
Or you see it revealed and it could be about 4 years down the line. Or it's see that it's mentioned but it's not coming out, or it's in development. You see all these movies out, it's in development now. Oh, this is happening now. We're going to tell you all this stuff and we're not going to let you think. I don't get it, because as soon as they see something that as soon as someone sees something that they like, they should just go to see it. If they see the name that they like, they should go see it. If they see the character they like, they should go see it. But they shouldn't be like, oh, here's a character that you like, here's the other characters they're going to be fighting, here's the story that's going to take place, here's what's going to happen, here's all the shit. Because that actually regularly makes me not want to watch stuff, and I think Marvel is the biggest culprit of it, especially with No Way Home. I still haven't seen it because I just like, I got told everything. I have a thing where if I can kind of tell where a story is going, I'm going to get really browned off with it. And I could tell the majority of where this story was going. I knew what they were going to start fighting together. I knew something emotional was going to happen. I had the feeling that something was going to happen with MJ and all this type of shit. So I was like, okay, all that fucking came into play. Awesome. I'm reading a book at the moment, and there are 5 characters in the card at the moment. I go, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna have a big redemption moment, then die. You two are gonna get away, and I'm pretty sure I'm after getting it right. So I don't want to read it anymore, because I'm like, God, these are so basic. But I'm gonna keep doing it out of the hope that it changes. But nowadays it's so like I know everything by the trailer.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting one you said. Like usually, like back in, I don't even know when it started to change, but like I remember a long time ago, you'd go to the cinema and like the trailers beforehand was like the first time you've ever seen the trailer for a certain film, and it was like, oh my god, when's that coming out? It would be like 2 months. It's like, okay, we gotta come back to the cinema in 2 months and watch that. It was never like you said, years in advance or like ridiculous amount of months in advance. It used to be just like a maximum 3 months. Like look at this trailer, see in 3 months.
Yeah.
And like it was more like repeating the trailer everywhere on TV, YouTube, billboards, rather than dropping new stuff consistently.
It's really become content as opposed to trailers.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it is becoming a little annoying when you have to like ruin the film. Like I was watching Interstellar the other day. Have you seen Interstellar?
No.
Have you?
Not all of it,
Okay.
no.
Sorry, you froze for a second.
Woo! Connection!
Yeah, but obviously we all know the Interstellar meme, and that it's going around at the moment, where him like screaming no no no, and I before I watched the film I obviously knew the meme. Then I was watching it, and then my girlfriend said, "Oh, that's like blah blah blah," and I was like, "Well, the whole movie's just ruined on me," and it was all leading to that point, and I was like, "Ah." It was still
Mhm.
great, but I was like, now I know. And it's the same thing with the trailers. It's like, we could have got there and it would have been more exciting, but now I know where we're going. Like,
Mhm.
it's still good. I'm still going to enjoy it, but I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I could have if I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, I think the only thing that works I think I got that sentence correct. The only thing that works in is if you watch, say there's 4 seasons of something, and you watch the last season, and you go, I want to watch the first seasons. Then you go back and watch the first seasons. Since you know where everything is going, there's a new experience for you to be like, oh, I know this character's going to become this and stuff like that. Like, that's actually happening with me in Attack on Titan. I watched the last half of the last season, and I was like, I gotta watch this. And I've binged, I think, all season 1 in the last 2 days, which is 24 episodes. I like every time I see a character, I'm like, oh, I was like, I know you live. I'm like, I know what you develop into, and I see small things
Yeah.
that come up. But with a fucking movie, like what I'm experiencing with the last season of Attack on Titan, going to the first one, is what happens with the fucking trailer. I see like the last half of the ending of it in the trailer, and so I know where it goes. But it's a movie, so I'm not going to see that much character development. And by the time there's also like midway things that are exposed in the trailer, I'm like, I see everything now. What's the point?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the most recent trailer that comes to mind that did it right was Endgame. And that was because they showed us in the trailer literally the first 20 minutes of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole like locating where he is, trying going to the planet and fighting him, and they make it look like that's the whole film, and you're like, okay, this is great, and then you go watch the film 20 minutes in, you're like, this is literally all we saw in the trailer. There is still 2.5 hours to go. What the fuck's gonna happen? And then from then on it was just amazing, but they don't do that anymore.
No. Yeah, if I was to make a trailer, as you just said there, I'd show you the beginning of the movie and like maybe something in the halfway point, because like there are there are acts to movies and plays and things like that. So like if I was to make a trailer, I'd show the first. Say if there's 5 acts, I'd show the like moments from the first one, like just kind of like the opening shot or something like that. And then I'd show some form of development in the second one that's not that big, it's just something. And then by the third act, I'd make sure in the movie, by the third act, there's some big thing that's happening to get that real ball moving. And I'd show that and make it look like that's the ending. Because after that, there's
Yeah.
2 more acts they have no idea about. There's so much more to it than just that 3. But in all the trailers now, it
Exactly.
shows the 5 acts.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, it's annoying. Like, even like with the new Doctor Strange trailer that came out, they show too much.
Oh, so much.
Like, even if it's like little bits and bobs in and around, like, we see Wanda, we knew Wanda was going to be in it, but she kind of hints at the fact that she, like, she says to Doctor Strange, like, if you do something with your magic or whatever, you're the hero, but if I do it, I'm the villain. That doesn't seem fair. So it's kind of like hinting at the fact that she's going to be evil. Honey, someone using spells to save the world and not allowing the multiverse to happen, and you trapping a whole town and torturing them mentally. Very different. Villain, good guy. But anyway, that's besides the point. And like they show so many like of the zombie Avengers, and like we even saw Patrick Stewart in it. Like, we just see the back of his head and his voice, and it's kind of like,
What's
this
the
could have been an
point?
awesome reveal. And
Yeah.
then like Ryan Reynolds hinting at the fact that like him tweet like on his Twitter bio saying like, see you in May 6th, and it's like, well, now we know Deadpool's in it, even if it's in an after credit scene or just for a second, we know he's in it. The fact that Patrick Stewart's in it, we know that a bunch of X-Men people are going to be in it. And that was just the first trailer. wait till we get the
Yeah.
second and the third and the fourth and the fifth. There's gonna be so many spoilers, and it's just gonna. Like, this film is one of the few films that we're looking forward to, and it's all gonna be ruined before we even get there.
It's already ruined for me. Like, as soon as I saw it, I went, "Ah, great! Now I'm not looking forward to it." Because I saw her there, I was like, "Ah, okay, great. Now I know she's gonna be in it. Now I know she's gonna be the villain." I was like, "Oh, great!"
Like
I saw
yeah,
Supreme Strange, Zombie Strange, another Strange, Gigantor, whatever the fuck the little big eyeball thing is. And then I
Yeah.
see Patrick Stewart and all the other references. I'm like, "Fuck me! I get it. Marvel, fuck off."
yeah, like, and then they have like Hugh. Like, I'm telling you, Hugh Jackman's gonna be in it. Robert Downey Jr. is gonna come back. The 3 Spider-Man are gonna be in it. Chris Evans is gonna come back either as fucking Captain America or the Flame guy in Fantastic Four. Like,
Oh, I
there's
never
gonna
even
be
considered that one.
Well, if he is, I guess I'm sorry, but it's just so frustrating because they could, like, okay, Wanda. We knew Wanda was gonna be in it because they were hinting at it anyway, and it would have made sense for her to be in it.
Mhm.
If they would have just had clips of just them fighting, maybe just have the main villain, or even make you think someone is the main villain but actually isn't, and just focus on that and have clips, and you're like, okay, this looks a bit mental, and then go in and you see, Patrick Stewart and like maybe Sarah McKellen, and you see all these things, and they're just like, wow. But now it's like, okay, because you showed us one person, we can pretty much say that anyone could be in this, and it's just gonna lose that wow factor.
For a while, I can't spend too much longer on this, but for a while, there was directors coming out and complaining about like superhero movies and DC and Marvel movies kind of like ruining cinema and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And for like
Scorsese
a
said
while,
that.
Scorsese said, I think Francis Ford Coppola came out against some of the things as well. I think he also mentioned Bond movies, and for a while I was like, "Oh, you know what I'm talking about? It's great experiences," but I don't think they were talking about superhero movies then. I don't like. They might have been an element of it might have been like, "Oh, look at this! It's just flashy." But a few of the ones that came out and said that they're damaging cinema and stuff like that, I can kind of only agree with it now. Because my want to go to the cinema is heavily spanned, like not spanned. It's really affected by it because with all the superhero trailers, other companies will see how well they do and they'll say, what do they show? Oh, they show a lot of things in their trailers. We're going to show a lot of things in their trailers. And I go, what do? They got a lot of big names. We'll get a lot of big names rather than looking at other smaller guys. And doing all this doesn't allow us to see, like, to go in there with the greatest experience. We go in there with this explained and dampened experience that we just kind of have to deal with at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and every superhero movie is the same if you think about it. It's like we get the beginning, the heroes fighting a bad guy. They save the day. Then there's a bit of kerfuffle in their personal life, and then the bad guy comes up. It's like, oh my god, he bet the shit out of me. I'm not strong enough to do this. And then 20 minutes later, he is strong enough to do this and defeats him. And then other films are starting because they're like, okay, if this stupid fucking repetitive way of making a film works, we're gonna make all our films like this. Have a good guy. They fight a bad guy. They can't defeat him. But then 20 minutes later, they figure something out and they can.
Which is why I don't think
Yeah.
No Way Home should have got an Oscar. And I see the whole like there's a fan favorite now, and like all I see is like this is going to ruin it. If it does get it, that's it for cinema.
The fan favorite Oscar thing.
Yeah.
It's such a stupid.
It's a cop out.
Yeah, it's a cop out making them win an Oscar and people be like happy with them. I mean, it would be quite funny if like Suicide Squad won it out of nowhere, or like the Zack Snyder cut won it. That would be quite funny. But it's gonna win it. Like, it's just a stupid award. You might as well just show up and be like, hey, look, you all wanted this. Here you go.
You might as well just went, here's an honorary Oscar for this.
Yeah, Yeah, yeah. When they originally came out and said they're ruining movies, I thought they were just salty at the fact that
Mm-hmm.
they were making loads of money and they weren't. But yeah, they were 100% right.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree with that actually.
Yeah, I'm starting to get there with
Mm-hmm.
especially with Marvel, and I'm sure DC will follow suit at some stage. You know, when they fuck up movies all the time that they probably can never get there anyway.
DC's in an interesting position because of the Batman, because they're doing something different, but they're still doing the trailer thing, but they're still altering the Batman things, so we have no real idea what the hell's going on. So I can have faith in
Yeah,
them. I want them to wrench it back, but we're out of time on this
move
one.
on. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's just the Batman because the Flash they fucked up. But anyway, we'll move on. TV, you said?
TV, TV.
Yeah. I just want to bring up something from the Halo TV show that I saw.
Yep, yep.
Oh,
No, you just remember earlier on when I mentioned something about them ruining something big or
yeah,
doing
this is it.
a different take. This is it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, in the Halo TV show, they want to ruin it more than they've already have by revealing Master Chief's face.
That is the biggest load of like you have no idea what character you're dealing with whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like the closest we've ever gotten was Halo 4. I don't even think it was a legendary ending. I think it was just a normal ending. It might have been a legendary ending where you just see his eyes. But that's
Yeah.
like enough for all of us because like we knew he was white. Let's be real. We
Yeah.
knew that he was a tall man with like brooding eyes. So just showing us the visor really
Yeah.
is perfect. Like it might have ruined a few people because like okay, it's easy for me to say because I am white, but like for other characters, like you actually no, because you have Halo Reach, I guess. But for other people, like you can like make up your own Master Chief type of thing.
Yeah.
But with this, showing his entire fucking face, the whole point of him is that he's just another faceless soldier who stands out amongst everyone else and becomes his own thing. And then he becomes
Exactly.
this massive character, but no one knows what he looks like. That's the whole fucking aspect of it. So the fact that they're being like, oh, this is a different Master Chief, like, it's not a Master Chief at all then. So why the fuck are you calling him that?
Yeah. It's so stupid. Like the whole thing is that you never get to see him.
Yeah.
You know, it's, like you said, it's just another soldier that just happens to be, that bit better than everyone else and stands out from the crowd. But he's just a soldier. He's nothing more than just a soldier. And the fact that they're gonna reveal his face is so dumb. It's
Yeah.
so dumb. It's kind of like they go, people are not excited for this. They're like, they're not looking forward to this. Let's just ruin it even more. Let's just.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're gonna tank. We might as well tank hard.
Oh yeah, they're like from the get go. They're as I said, they're like, oh let's do something new and inventive with this character, and then they went, okay, oh the fan base don't like that. Oh, we're getting sued by someone from the actual game developer because of the music. Let's fuck it up more for the fans. And then I was like, you're ruining the like you like if you wanted to show a Spartan's face. If you wanted to do something like that, to create a character that no one, a completely different experience of Halo than we've already had, make up a fucking character.
Yeah.
Write your own character. Stop being so damn lazy as to turn around and be like, oh, people know this guy, we're going to do it. As I've said, people don't know him. They know the armor. They look at a Spartan 2 Mark fucking 4 Mjolnir armor and go, oh, Halo. They don't think that's a fucking Master Chief. They think Halo. They see Master Chief, they think either him or they just think Halo. But for fuck's sake, you gotta be so lazy and incompetent at writing and you can't write your own fucking character. That's what's really starting to piss me off now. It really comes across as that.
Yeah, because like they could, if they wanted to have a Spartan with its own personality and like, that they want to be more than just a soldier, blah blah blah, all this bullshit. Great, do that, but don't use a character that doesn't want to do that and hasn't for the past like 20 years.
It's definitely good in there.
So like, just create a new character. They can have the same armor, similar armor, same storyline, whatever you want, but just different character. Don't ruin the one that is perfect, you know. And this is why games should stay games.
Yeah.
Even like the whole thing that you said, like we didn't know if he was black or white, and like blah blah blah. Like Stan Lee, when he made Spider-Man, he was like, the reason I love Spider-Man so much is because the kids in the universe, obviously not us, the kids in the universe, they see Spider-Man, they don't see any skin color, they can imagine that they can be Spider-Man, they can imagine anyone, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, and it just adds that bit more like hope and all this, and like connection to the character, blah blah blah. And that's what people had with Master Chief to a certain degree, not all the time, but like being like, oh, he could be black, he could be white, he could be whatever.
Yeah.
And now that the fact that you're just going to reveal his face and just ruin that whole aspect of it, it's just kind of... I mean, we knew it was going to be shit, and then they should have ruined it even more.
Yeah. It looks like they're doing a fucking Halo 5 thing, because they have the Spartan fire team. They have like the 3 other Spartans, and they have this guy, or Chief, obviously. I don't even want to fucking call him Chief, because it's not him. Like, it seemed like they're just doing Halo 5 on it, and just completely doing it wrong. Because, like, okay, Halo 5 was awful. It really was. Look at what everything that just got deconstructed in front of me was. It was painful. It was cool to see the Arbiter back, but that was the only good thing. So when Halo Infinite came out, and they pretty much not really retconned it, but for me they fixed a lot of what happened. They I said I kind of broke it up about actually. They fixed a lot of what they did in 5 and changed it around and kind of rebuilt it. Halo Infinite definitely... Sadly, the Halo Infinite multiplayer has really been lacking, and it's a real shame, because I think anyone who has delved into Halo's lore enough understand that Halo Infinite has done a shit ton to revitalize the story for Chief. So we've already gotten one revitalization for Chief. Now we have a TV series that's going the complete wrong way about it.
Yeah. 100%.
And another point there, but then I realised midway we're not on video games, we're on TV, so I had to write it back.
Yeah. That's okay. But yeah, they're gonna ruin that TV show, you know. But yeah, but have you watched Stranger Things? I can't remember if you have.
Not since season 2.
So you haven't seen season 3, but
No.
So season 4 is coming out soon, pretty soon I think, at some stage. But they've officially said that season 4 will be split into 2. So volume 1, volume 2, and volume 2, which will be season 5, will be the last. They won't be making any more, and that's what I was gonna get to. A lot of people are like, "What? Only 5? Wow, they've ruined it." Good, not because
only 5.
Yeah, like I enjoyed 4. I enjoyed 3. I did. I'm sorry, I haven't even watched 4, so I can't enjoy 4. I've enjoyed 3, and I watched 4, and I'll watch 5, and I'm sure I'll enjoy them. But we keep getting back to this point that when people complain at the fact that, oh, you're cutting it short, and you complain about it, no, that's a good thing, because they know when to stop. You know, when a show knows, look, we'll stop here, that's enough, they can have a good ending rather than being cancelled or going way too far and then just ruining it all. So I'm okay with the fact that they're just doing 5 and that's it.
Yeah, people have an issue lately when it definitely comes to TV series. The one that comes to mind is Peaky Blinders. They don't like seeing a good thing end. I don't get that.
Yeah.
What, like, be left with your own thoughts on something. Be left with this big, like, if something has to continue for you to keep enjoying it, that's not on the show, it's on you for not just thinking beyond what's on the screen. Because we always talk about different stuff that happens in shows. We always talk about what it could mean for series and stuff like that. We don't just see what happens in the show, take it for face value, and that's it. We don't just see what happens in the show, look at the Easter eggs in the background, the references to prior things that happen in the show, and then leave it at that. We talk about future prospects of those characters and stuff like that, because that's where it can go to. That's what it's supposed to. It's supposed to be fucking thought provoking. It comes back to the same thing no matter what. The only thing that I can really say has not lost its thought provokingness just yet is the gaming industry. That will always, I think, have its method of making you think, because you literally experience it as you. But with TV and movies, there's such a disconnect lately with like people who actually want to have an experience watching something than churning out for money. So when this show, which has already been churning out for money, it is, look, once a load of people started coming in, and once they aged from just the kids and it went away from the whole Spielberg reminiscent style of filming, it just became another let's just print money show.
Yeah, it really has. Can they get anything right, or are we just really complainy?
I don't like to think I'm really complaining, because when I complain about it to people, they always go, "Yeah, you're right." Like when I say this like type of stuff to people who I watch shows with, they generally go, "Yeah." So it's not just us; it's a common consensus. But I don't know, because I talked a lot about these type of shows to a load of different people, and I always get the same, "Yeah, I wish it was different." It just makes you wonder, who the fuck, what mass of population are like that? Because I'm yet to find someone who's probably been like, that's a bit of a lie. I do know one person who I'm like, really? You're the type of person. But that's only one out of like, say, the 25 people who I've discussed TV series with. They're like the one person I'm like, oh, great, you're the person. But that's it. I'm yet to find a mass group of people who don't complain about trailers, who don't complain about things that happen. And I think it's just because it's the people who don't talk about movies, it's the people who don't talk about TV shows, and who don't play video games, who sit there and be like, oh, I'm happy with this now. Big old trailer that tells me everything. I'm going to watch it because I know everything already. It's like it panders towards their inability to accept ignorance and just want to know everything.
Yeah, and like, I think another thing that has kind of ruined, TV shows and trailers and stuff like that is like YouTubers and TikTokers that like dissect every scene of every frame of everything, and people love consuming that content of someone talking 20 minutes about a 2-minute trailer because they went frame to frame and be like, look, do you see this like yellow pixel? That means fucking Wolverine in his original costume's gonna be, and it's like, can you not? And then people get all these like things in their heads. It's like, oh my god, like people found these little Easter eggs in season 3 at the end, so like this is what's gonna happen in season 4, and then you're expecting this, and when it doesn't happen, you're like, well, this show's shit. And it's like, no, if you didn't dive into all these stupid theories, you would have enjoyed what they gave you. It's just you wanted something else.
Like with the Book of Boba, I came to my own conclusions of what I want to happen with Cad Bane and what I didn't. I didn't have anyone else to turn to and be like, you told me this. I was like, what I wanted didn't happen. But look, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and
but it was my own thing.
You know.
Yeah, but that's like the risk you run. It's like people like want someone to blame when the TV show goes wrong. That is an absolute thing that people love to do, is blame everyone else except for themselves. So when I had the experience of being able to blame myself for, I was actually pretty happy with the fact that I was like, I don't know how I didn't like this, because I could turn around and be like, that was my opinion on it, not someone else's. But it's interesting you brought up YouTubers there dissecting things. I know I'm going back to movies for a second, but I was talking to someone about Encanto, and then they started talking about how they watched, I think it was like a Singers React video.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, but they started talking about like how the reason why people may not like the Big Sister song is because it's made for an alto or something like that, and songs that are made for altos aren't that great. I was like, okay. So then I looked up Disney songs for altos, and there's so many of them. And I was like, okay, wait, what singers are altos? And like Cher, Amy Winehouse, Lorde, some of the biggest fucking names are altos. And I was like, you heard this one thing from someone who claims they're a professional, that they're a singer. You heard them make up this weird theory, and then you tried to justify a song that just isn't the greatest. It's just not well performed. I keep hearing, I'm like, wow, that's just kind of lacking. And then you went from looking at an object, someone telling you some random thing they came up about this object, and then you tried to spur it on from there. And another person was talking to at the time, there's three of us there, they didn't have that much clue about songs and music and stuff like that when it comes to like soundtrack singers.
Yeah.
So they just kind of accepted it. And I was like, but then there's me who likes to think about the stuff. I went, hang on, I'm going to look up more about that. And discovered that it was completely wrong. So one person is being led now to just being complete and utter misinformed about the show, about what's going on. And then the other person who wants to actually think about it, who actually knows about it, knows otherwise. So you're dead right when it comes to like when there's people who dissect shows.
Yeah, claim they know stuff, but don't.
Yeah, they know fuck all. But people will watch it and be like, that's wrong. And people will be like, oh, I'll blame you for this now. I'm not going to blame myself. I'm like, fuck you. Just deal with the fact you got something wrong.
Yeah, like, I'm not against theories and theorizing about things that you want to happen in a show, movie, whatever. That's the whole magic of it, that you can have your own imagination and own thought process. And even if, even if you can't have your own thought process and can't imagine it, and you need someone to tell you what you need to imagine, that's fine. But if it doesn't happen, don't blame the show, and don't blame the person that told you to try and believe this. Blame yourself for believing that.
Yeah, don't watch one thing and take it as gospel. Watch a few things, listen to a few things, and be like, okay, here's this aspect of it, here's this aspect. Like, I know I'm going to Dark Souls now, but there are so many theories and fan things in that's like, so many conflict and overlap with each other, that if I'm told one thing about a character, or about a monster in it, I'm like, that's cool. Oh, there's another thing saying about this person, and I like that one. I'm not going to just take the first one I hear to gospel. I'm going to say, oh, there's more aspects to this that correspond, but I'm going to go for this one.
Yeah. So
that's how you need to go about things. If you just sit there and hear one YouTuber say, oh, this is this, and you go, this is this, like, you're as bad as the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's true, because like, even like, think about it. If you want to buy a phone, a laptop, headset, whatever, and you go to YouTube and you want to see someone review it so you can get an idea, is it good, is it bad, you don't watch one video and go, he said it's good, I'll go buy it, and then you buy this shit. You're like, well, that's your fault. No, you watch one video and then you watch someone else's point of view, and then you watch one compared to a different one, and then this and that, so you get all aspects of it, and then you're like, you know what, that makes sense, I like that, I'm gonna do that. Or, no, I won't buy that and won't do that. But but look, we'll get back to actual news. Peaky Blinders coming out next week.
Oh yeah, it is. So I'm interested. You said something there about looking up videos about things. So I wanted to see about headphones, especially because there's some good headphones. I'm like, I want to see if other people say it's shit, and then I was like, no, I fucking love it. But yeah, I can't believe it's coming out so soon. Sorry, that was where I went off topic.
Yeah,
I can't
and it came out of nowhere. Like, they were like, oh, it's coming out soon, and then like during on Thursday or something, they're like, Sunday. It's like, wait, what? Which, I mean, we get back to the thing. They dropped one trailer, and they were like, yeah, it's coming out soon, and no more information about it. And that was it. We're getting it now. That's perfect. The only thing is, I don't know how we're gonna watch this, because I don't have BBC anywhere, so I have no idea how I'm gonna watch this.
I think I have we have Go TV or something like that. Is it Go? Now TV. I keep thinking it's Gomo.
Now TV.
You have Now TV. I think that has BBC on it or some shit. Oh, it's BBC player.
It might be.
Oh wait.
But yeah. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so that's coming out very soon. Very excited. But the other TV show I want to get onto before we move on is one that it connects us to games, I guess. But Amazon has bought out a gaming company. Let me get the name of it here. DJ2 Entertainment.
No, not Don't Nod. Okay.
And it comes with certain games and stuff like Life is Strange, Little Nightmares, It Takes Two, Disco Asylum, and other stuff. But they're looking at making TV shows and movies of these games. So they want to make a TV show of Life is Strange, and then they want to do a show or movie of Little Nightmares, It Takes Two. And I don't know how to feel about this.
Life is Strange is going to be absolutely shit. The reason why it's going to be absolutely shit, because you are literally taking a game, my god, a game that you yourself control and your decisions manipulate and your decisions go through, and like your experience of that writes that story as it goes. Fuck it, even affects the second game because you can find the original place, and depending on your decisions in the previous game, that town is there or not. Like that's as fucking intense as you can get with it. So the fact that they're gonna write a show that's there and then what's gonna happen, bullshit. Unless they do what Black Mirror did with their choose your own thing, which I still never experienced, never know how that worked. If they do that, it'll work. They'll get some shit out of it. But if they don't, it's gonna be shit. Now I don't know about Disco Elysium, but I'm pretty certain it's a similar like aspect of you kind of develop your own thing, or it's just your own experiences. But like, there's even a Fallout show that's coming. It's not on Amazon's video game adaptation. It's fucking Amazon again. Like that is a free roam open world RPG that you can. The amount of sequence breaking you can do in that game is immense. Especially Fallout 4. I have broken that game so many times just by sequence breaking it. But like, there's so much that you yourself do in those games that makes the games enjoyable. Like so many developers or producers will look at something and go, people like this game, let's do something with it. Like the Halo, people like Halo, let's do Halo. It's like, no, people like Halo because it's them playing it. People like Disco Elysium, and people like Life is Strange, people like Fallout because it's them playing it. And they like the story, but they like how they play the story. Because once you play Fallout, or if you play, we're playing Skyrim again at the moment. I played Skyrim for my first time. I religiously played the main story and then went from there. And I played it in such a structured way that I was like, okay, I am now playing it as a fucking cat who is allergic to potatoes, who can only eat fish, who can't go into water, can't fast travel, has to eat to sustain itself, and like all this dumb shit because it's me playing Skyrim with someone else also doing it. It's two of us playing Skyrim. It's our experience with it. Yeah. It's like, you're not gonna do that shit, and it's some of the funniest playthroughs I've ever fucking had with a video game. But it's my experience with it's gonna be shit.
Yeah. We always go back to the same fucking thing we say every week. Just originality is dead. You know, they just need something that has worked. Okay, this has worked. This game has worked. It was successful. Or this old movie worked. Now let's remake it. Whatever. It just can never be like, let's come up with our own fucking story and just go with it. You know,
it's almost as if people write with a template but they write to the template, not how to avoid it. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm a writer or anything like that, but like because I wrote a video game hasn't developed or anything like that. But as I was doing it, I would like write a section of it and be like, can I look at a game and say it's exactly like this? Yeah. No? Okay. Can I think of a pop culture reference that is exactly like this? No. I'm going to keep going to it. Are there aspects to certain pop culture things? Yeah, of course. Are there aspects to other games in it? Yeah, fucking course. But the idea isn't to make something completely new. The idea isn't to do something that's completely original. The idea is to make it feel like it's yours, not feel like it's someone else's.
Exactly. Like, being original nowadays is very difficult because you know, anything that you try to come up with is you're coming up with because it's based off something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you come up with a game, you're basing it off one of your favorite games, aspects you like of your favorite games, and stuff that you didn't like from certain games, and you don't implement that into your own game. So, but we just, like you said, want it to feel original. It could be an original story with aspects like aspects from certain movies and aspects of certain TV shows, but just feels original. Doesn't feel like, oh look, you liked fucking this movie 25 years ago. Well, guess what? We're all coming back for a reunion.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. It's like, you loved Jurassic Park? Well, guess what? Jurassic World. You liked Indiana Jones? Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings? New Lord of the Rings. You liked Game of Thrones like 5 years ago? Well, guess what? We're going 100,000 years before, and we're gonna give you another one. And it's like, let's just come up with original stuff. You know,
it's
we're not saying nothing is original.
Yeah.
We're not saying nothing's original. We're just saying the majority of stuff isn't original anymore.
No, it's interesting you brought up Lord of the Rings because there's two aspects of looking at it. I don't know anything about that show, so the fact that there are returning characters and new characters that are literally made from thin air just being put into it, I can look at it and go, okay, I'm interested in that because when we go to watch it, as someone who doesn't know, hasn't read Silmarillion like that, we can go and watch it thinking it's something completely new. We can see some new things to attract other people. We can see some old things to attract to Silmarillion. We can see some completely batshit crazy things to attract like people like me, I guess.
Yeah.
But then you have the people who obviously read the book, like one of my roommates who's currently crying about it, and like it's not doing one thing, it's not doing another thing, it's doing everything into one. So I'm interested to see how that works out, that you're doing everything into one aspect, because that could feel different and new, but it doesn't appease to the people who want something original. It doesn't appease to the people who want something based off a book. It appeals to fucking no one really, but we're all still really interested in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but some people are worried that it's not going to do well because they got rid of the original screenwriters, the directors, and all that. But I mean, you know, that doesn't mean it's going to be shit. But like, I do like that we haven't gotten much. We did get a trailer. I wouldn't really call it a trailer. It was more of a teaser type of thing. Nothing really is shown, which for me that's enough. But we know we'll get more. Don't even think we have a release date for that.
September, I think.
Is
September 17th, I think so.
I
believe it's September 17th.
But yeah, I am looking forward to it, and yeah, September 2nd. And it's set so far before the other ones, that I don't really see any other characters, coming back from the original, other than like maybe elves or Gandalf, because everyone else would be not born yet. But other than that, I like it. Hopefully, will feel original, and we haven't had Lord of the Rings in so long that it could feel original, but hopefully it'll be good.
Hopefully.
But the games.
Yes, let's go back to games. I want to start off by saying one thing. Matt, the balding black goateed man who's the legendary man in Nintendo Wii Sports, is coming back for Nintendo Switch Sports. So we are.
Oh, of course.
We have something to overcome.
Oh yeah. I'm glad.
Someone start playing the Dark Souls boss music.
I'm glad that they're doing that. Because it's a little throwback and a little sticking with the whole community that they're always like, oh, this guy is so difficult and all this. So I'm glad that they're bringing him back. It's kind of funny.
Sorry, I found something. You know how we talk about headlines? Just just not really making sense sometimes. This one has a grammatical error in it as the headline.
Oh, great.
Pot Boy from Elden Ring is now called Pot Friend. That's grand, comma. And you can your very own version of him. You can your very own version of him.
That makes sense.
You can what? No, it doesn't. You can... Oh, you're joking. You can your own. You know, you can your very own. Sorry. You can. You can your very own him.
It feels like we're missing a lot. You know, we're missing one word, but you know, there's so many words that can fit in there. I can give this a very different meaning.
Yeah, can we summon him in game? Can we own him as a thing?
Yeah,
like, can you befriend? What the fuck? One word can derail everything.
yeah, it can destroy the quantum realm. Yeah.
Anyway,
funny.
apologies. Okay, so we do actually have a good few things in games. So we might as well talk about the Cyberpunk update. Now,
okay,
it looks like it's just a graphical overhaul, really. It looks like it's just adding in all these things. It's like a 50 gigabyte update. I think it adds some new story or quests or whatever the fuck. It's huge. But it's still broken to fuck.
Is it still broken?
Oh, I haven't played it. I've only seen clips, obviously. But literally, like, just walking through an area, cars still explode out of nowhere. Like, they still glitch in. Nothing is fixed. Like, no quality of life things have happened. It's just, now as you shoot water, it makes a little splash. That's where this has gone. Like,
yeah, and they also fixed the original issue where NPCs should have been sending you nudes, and they weren't, but now they are.
Sorry, excuse me?
NPCs were meant to be sending you nudes in the game, but now they are because they fixed it.
So I gotta reinstall it.
Well, yeah, like it like when I read that, I was like, they really just went out and fixed all the wrong things.
Oh, fuck yes. They just went like, this is a big issue. But nudes.
But nudes. Yeah, it's like, oh no, cars and graphical errors. But now you're gonna get a notification that you're all gonna like.
Oh god, the things are erupting in the side of the street, but boobs and balls? Yeah.
Yeah, bring them in. Yeah, it's...
bring them in. Distract everyone.
Are we surprised?
Like, oh
though?
my god.
Are we surprised?
No, not at all.
No, not at all. But yeah, not fixed. And from one non-fixed game to another, I found this quite funny. Battlefield 2042.
Oh, right. I haven't even looked at anything.
I think it was someone in EA anyway came out, I want to say about a week ago, and said blamed COVID and Halo Infinite on their failure.
Yeah.
On the fact that they failed, and they got a lot of backlash. You know, a whole lot of don't go around blaming Halo for your shit. Like, this is shit because you made it shit. You know, even if Halo didn't come out, it was gonna be shit and all this. And then like, the president of EA came out and was like, we never said that. We're humbled at what's going on. We're humbled that, you know, we thought it was going to be great and it wasn't, and now we want to make it up to the fans. We would never say such things. And I just found it quite funny that, you know, within a week they just backtrack so fast.
It's the biggest load of shit. Like, the game, I haven't touched there's an update on my Xbox for Battlefield 2042. It's only 1.5 gigabytes. I haven't downloaded it. And I know I'm not going to play it. I'm even thinking about uninstalling it to make space for Elden Ring.
Yeah, I think I might uninstall it as well. As much as it hurts because we really wanted it to, you know, work and all that. But, I mean, they fucked it. I mean, we might go back in like 3 years and it'll be good. But at the moment, it is nowhere good.
Oh, absolutely not. Because because 1, 2, 3, 4. No, sorry, 3. Fucking headlines down, there's a No Man's Sky
I saw that.
headline. Yeah, now 6 years later, they're still updating it. They're still adding to it. They're still bringing in more content to keep people coming by. I have no idea what the hell it is, but it like just seeing makes me go, oh, No Man's Sky. I should go back and play that. I fucking love that game. But at the beginning, I was like, it's not that great of a game. But they didn't turn around to other game developers and be like, oh, this coming out made it complete bullshit. I was like, no. Oh, we never said that. It's like, yeah, you did. Like, they just went, we did shit. Let's work on it. And they just got down. They just knuckled themselves in. And now they have a fucking incredible game. They have an absolutely staggeringly brilliant game that people should really go back and actually play. If people are still, even nowadays, being like, oh no, No Man's Sky is shit, had a bad launch. It's like, cop on to yourself. 6 years later, it's not launched anymore. It's completely revitalized. Battlefield 2042 won't do that. I know they fucking won't do that.
Yeah, from the beginning they were like, no, it's good, give it a go, swear, trust me, bro, it's cool. And then they were like, okay, but it's not our fault. And then they were like, okay, now we fucked up. You know, everyone hates us. Rightfully so, but everyone hates us. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, just fix your game, shut up and move on. Or if you don't want to fix it, just be like, look, I'm sorry, we fucked up, we're not fixing it, we're just going to move on to the next one. I mean, I'd much prefer if they were just honest like that. You know, if they were just like, look, we messed up, you know, we're not bothered fixing it because it just costs us more than developing a new one, so we're just going to invest that money in developing a new one. We apologise. If you want a refund, go here. If you want to keep playing it, keep playing it.
Yeah, because the petition got a few 100,000, didn't it? It got like over 100,000 petitions to get refunds. I can't. You said something there was like that they were just honest, like, okay, we messed up, we'll be better for our next one. I can't, like, you say it and I have a twinge in my head that's like, that happened at some point, and I can't remember what game it was.
The one, No Man's Sky, I think they came out and said, look, you know, it was poor.
Might well have been.
I think they were like, oh, look, we know it's poor, but we apologise for it being poor, but look, we're gonna knuckle down and try and fix it, and they did.
Yeah, so okay, them. It might well have been that. I have in my head that's someone else, but like, it's the fact that they're just coming up, like, if a game company comes up with excuses for something not being good, and then, because when did that come out? When did Battlefield 2042 come out? November last year?
November 19th? A year old, like. Not even 6 months old yet.
Yeah, it's not even 6 months old, and they've already feel like they've given up on it. They haven't. It's been 6 months. They haven't released a big update. Like, as I said, I have an update on it for it. It's a gigabyte and a half. Like, they even said, oh, reception for the game was good. That's a fucking lie as well. The amount of people are like, this game needs a lot of work and needs to stay in development for longer, and they're like, oh,
yeah,
out it comes then.
And you know, this has also opened my eyes to the whole. You know when like games and movies come out and they always put like the reviewers, like the New York Times gave it a 5 out of 10, and they called it the best game of the year and all this, and like Battlefield had all those, and they had like loads of like 4 stars, 5 stars, and they were like best thing since like sliced bread and all this, and it was like, now I'm trying to think, are ye paying these companies?
Yeah.
Because originally I thought, because usually when I saw them and I went to watch the movie or the game and it was good, I believed them. But now I'm starting to think, it's just a thing where EA goes, look, New York Times will give you a fucking 50 million if you just say it's good, and they just go, okay, and they just write an article going, fucking fantastic.
Yeah, like, that's not an unknown thing. That absolutely happens. I am like, if it doesn't happen, they're fucking lying. Yeah. Like there was a movie, I think it was Legend, with like Tom Hardy played 2 people. Excuse me. And it had like a bunch of 5-star things on it because it's a good movie. But there was what they did was there was one, I think it was Empire or someone, that gave them 2 stars. So like they showed the diversity of different stars. They showed the 4, the 5, maybe 3, but then they even showed the 2. Now they hid it between the 2 characters, so it looks like it's a 4-star because there should be more stars, but it's a 2-star. So anything that only gets 5 stars, and this is something that people I think have forgotten as time went on. If something only gets good reviews, something's wrong. Like if
Something's
you
wrong.
look at, if I was to go, hang on, if I was to go to the trailer for The Last Jedi,
Because
Ah,
you're not gonna get. Not everyone thinks the same. You know, some people will enjoy something and some people won't. Like I've seen a lot of people say, "Don't Look Up" is shit, and other people saying, "Don't Look Up" is great. And that's gonna happen. You know, not everyone's gonna like your film. Not everyone's gonna like your game. What are
absolutely
you
not.
trying to say?
I'm trying to see what they come up with. What what the reviewers say on it's like the biggest thing in Star Wars or some shit. I don't fucking say that, and I wonder why.
Yeah, but anyway, we're on game, so
I
let's
know.
go back. Let's go back. But yeah, they just stick to your. Just be like, look, we're shit. We're gonna fix it, or just be like, look, we're shit. We're not gonna fix it. At least be honest. I think feel like people would appreciate that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like anyone
Yeah.
would. Anyone, like any company that has transparency with its any gaming company at least that has transparency with its fans usually have a much better aspect or a better chance of being able to improve their game, because like Halo Infinite looks like it's on the right track. It has that transparency and it has that ability to communicate with its fans. It needs to put more work in. I know Microsoft
Yeah.
and 343 Industries have a lot on their plate right now, so developing the multiplayer of one game, and even I'm still waiting, still fucking waiting for that what you call it, a co-op multiplayer so we can actually do lasso. Like I'm waiting for it to fucking happen for campaign, but they have the transparency there and they have a good chance of actually developing it. They need to get their thumbs out their holes and be like, this is what's going to make you more money in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like Halo and now that I'm thinking about it, Halo and Battlefield both like lacked updates in or around Christmas time in January, and they blamed it on the fact that they were giving their staff breaks and because the holidays and all that, and which is I'm not saying they shouldn't, they definitely should, but if you're not able to release a game and keep it running during the holidays because people are off work and with their families and all that, then don't release them around Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Stop releasing it around Christmas time if you're not gonna be able to fix it around Christmas time. Then people are just gonna fed up because you're not releasing updates for like 2 months, and then you just give up on your game and your game's dead by the time you come back and try and fix it.
Which is pretty much what happened with both those games.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we got probably the biggest game of the year coming out in 5 days.
Oh, I gotta perfect Dark Souls 2 before I fucking play it. I'm on the precipice. That's all 3 DS games done.
You're nearly there, but the new
Fucking.
Dark Souls-esque game, it is a Dark Souls, but it's not from the Dark Souls trilogy.
Souls-like.
Souls-like, yeah. Elden Ring is very close. 5 days. Are you
Ooh.
excited?
Absolutely. I'm amazed by
Are
that
you-
last noise.
Are you worried that it might not be good, or are you not even thinking like that?
I'm not worried that it might not be good because they've displayed a massive change to the Dark Souls games, which is good. Because if they just make a Dark Souls, because I play Dark Souls 1, I play Dark Souls 3, same controller scheme, pretty much. Dark Souls 2 has a slightly different one, but you can make it the exact same. So all 3 of those games are the exact same control scheme. So you have those 3 there. That's their own thing. That's grand. Over there you go. Your little perfect little corner, except for Dark Souls 2. You then have Demon Souls, which started the Souls games. And you had it way back when, and I was like, okay, you started there. But then it has its redemption story with the big update. So then you have this nice remaster. So I'm also going to put you there because you're in your nice little good corner. Then you got Bloodborne, which has its own feel to it because the controls are a little bit different. The healing aspect is different. There are different aspects to it, and you can go over there in your perfect little corner too. And then you got fucking Sekiro, which adds its own mechanics to it, its own way of dealing with things, its own story, mechanics, look, feel, controls, heroes, bosses, everything. And you can just take that. I want to put it over there in the perfect area.
Yeah.
Because it's its own thing. Because the three things, you have Dark Souls, so it has its own feel, you have Bloodborne, so it has its own feel, and you have Sekiro, and it has its own feel, and they're all amazing. So I'm afraid that people are going to do is they're going to see Elden Ring, see the consistencies with Dark Souls 3, and be like, oh, it's a Dark Souls game. And be like, no, that's how you fall into the pit that it's not going to be good. Like, oh, this doesn't feel like Dark Souls 3. It's like, it's not fucking supposed to. It's supposed to feel like Elden Ring. It's supposed to be Elden Ring. So I'm excited for it because it's going to be a new thing that they're doing again. That's going to have a similar feel to Bloodborne and Dark Souls. It's going to have mechanics of Sekiro. It's going to have massive bosses. It's going to have Yuka Kitamura in there. It's going to have all this mad shit. And it's going to be Elden Ring. It's not going to be anything else besides it.
Yeah. So, okay. When you put it like that, it makes sense. You know, I wouldn't have thought of it like that. But yeah, we're nearly there to what is pretty much a favourite to win Game of the Year. You know, I'm sure there's odds out there. I'm sure this and the only other game that I could potentially see having better odds than this is maybe God of War, but this is definitely up there with it. It's just beautiful looking, and I'm sure it'll be absolutely massive. That's the one thing I'm really excited to see, because I definitely won't play this game. Definitely won't be getting it ever. But I'm excited to see how massive this is.
You're playing Fallen Order right now. That's a Souls like. You're getting your head kicked off with it every now and again. You lose your mind. But you've broken the. I'm not saying that joke. You've gotten through the seal.
I know where you were going, but yeah, I just want to. I want to see how. Yeah, I want to see how massive this map's gonna be, because I feel like it's gonna be absolutely humongous.
Mhm. It is, and because fucking Sekiro's big. Sekiro's pretty fucking big as well. Dark Souls, all of them are pretty. Maybe not Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 is pretty small compared to the rest, but it's an old enough game. Dark Souls 2 actually has a lot of length to it. Like, I've been playing for a while now, and you go on for a pretty long while. Dark Souls 3 is just massive. So, and then Bloodborne's pretty big too. I don't think it's as big as 3. I can't really remember. I think it has more layers to it, type of thing. But this just is set to be fucking huge. It's set to be I think all the Dark Souls 3 map is in like a section of it, type of thing. It's It's
gonna be massive.
It's gonna be massive.
It's gonna be absolutely massive.
And that's the other thing. People don't will compare map sizes to all the other games that's come out from Soft, and they're gonna be like, okay, this is really big, and you have to walk around the place. No, you get to get on a horse or whatever the hell it's called. I'm waiting to experience it all. I haven't looked at any lore videos just yet. And then you get to roam around. You have to fight on this thing. And there's already a balancing happening with a few bosses. And there's already streamers playing it. That's the thing. There are people playing it and spoiling it because they're bastards. But I haven't heard anything bad. No, because when you think of the release of Battlefield 2042, right? Think of the amount of streamers that came out and were like, this game's broken. Think of the amount of streamers that came out complaining about the state it's in, complaining about how broken it is, complaining about how destructive it just is to itself. And I look at this, and you haven't heard that much. You haven't heard any of the bad things.
Yeah.
You haven't really heard any good things, because they don't report good things. God forbid they report good things.
Yeah, if you
So
watch
it's
news,
just
you
kind of
only see bad news. You never see
Mhm.
good news.
so
But
it's just kind of
yeah.
in this limbo at the moment.
Yes, if you don't see bad news, it's probably good news.
Hmm.
Um,
That's also what I'm focusing on.
yeah. But apparently, some people got, to play the closed network test.
Mm.
They do some. It's like a little alpha test, and they were only given a small percent of the map, and when they were playing it, they thought it was massive. They thought
Mm.
for what they got, they were like, "Yo, this is quite big," and then they kind of did a bit of a estimations and stuff, and they believe that they only got about 13% of the map,
Yeah.
and they thought it was huge. So that's just kind of like,
So.
this is going to be astronomically big.
Hmm. What I do love about it is like
Yeah.
while I was
I
watching,
just
so I
love
watched a
seeing
few
big
of it.
maps because it just
Connection issues.
Mm.
The wind just started blowing really heavily outside. What I love about it is when I was watching, I watched like one Dark Souls streamer. Well, I watched a few, but one in like absolute particular. And what I loved was I saw him get on the horse and he was like riding around the place. I saw him fight a few things, but then I saw him go inside caves and so go inside dungeons and shit like that. So it's not just this massive open world thing; it's also inside places. Because that's kind of one of my things with Sekiro is it's all outdoorsy. There's a few places that you go inside type of thing you fight around, but the majority of it is probably just roaming around paths and inside places. And it was fine. I liked like when I got into closer combat areas, it was so much more fun to me. So I
Yeah.
guess that's my experience with the Soulsborne games. So with this, the fact that it's blending in not just the open vastness of Sekiro, but the close knit quarter style thing of the Souls games as well, that is big win.
Yeah, they said that the main story, just main story, is about 30 hours to complete, right? But that's obviously
Yeah,
main story,
yeah,
not
it's not
side
gonna be.
missions and they said there's a lot of replayability. They're
Mm.
like 30 hours to complete it, but you can put a lot more time if you want to in replaying, doing all the side quests. I'm sure just collectibles and all that type of stuff, and I'm sure the story, depending on certain paths and classes you choose, the story is different and stuff. It's kind of like Skyrim. You can play Skyrim 120 times with different class builds, different stuff, and you'll always have a new experience. So I'm sure 30 hours is literally just doing the main story. But if you want to
Yeah.
do more, and that's not even including like future DLCs that they're probably gonna have and all this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Like I'll
absolutely
put you,
ridiculous.
I'll put you this way. That's also complete shit. Like in Dark Souls 3, I sprinted through that game at one point. And I
Yeah.
think it was only like um I don't know, it's only like let me check up something. Time to beat record maybe? Records. I should look up speedrunning records. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the speedrunning record is an hour 24. I think I done it in about 3. So like,
Yeah.
but if you were to just look up time to beat, it says 32 and a half hours. Now, the amount of time it's taken me to perfect that game is 201 hours. And it says, like, I never listen to these time-based things, because this also says here, you are likely to spend around 96 hours to obtain 100% completion. Now, I did fuck up one of my playthroughs, but, like, my first playthrough of the game took me 80 hours.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, it took me 80 hours to get through the game on my first attempt. And what I
For the
love
first time,
seeing whenever I saw a post on that was, oh, Elden Ring is going to take 30 hours to complete. The next comment was, oh, okay, so I'm playing it for 70 hours in my first playthrough. That's cool. Like people instantly know 30 hours means fucking nothing, and
Yeah.
it really does.
Yeah, I say that 30 hours is literally like time travel to the place you need to go, do the mission, then time travel to the next place. It doesn't include anything else, So it's gonna be absolutely huge game.
Mm-hmm. And I question what 100% means, because I don't know if it means like I assume it means kill all bosses
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
do all DLCs, because 100% completion, you will spend upwards of 30 hours grinding for one of those fucking things. I know it because I did it. So
Yeah.
that doesn't mean achievements is either. And so that 30 hours doesn't even mean going for achievements. That could
No,
easily get
no.
up to like 250 hours.
No, 30 hours is literally just main story. Just
Mm-hmm.
like literally completing the game. Not getting achievements, not getting collectibles, side missions, anything, just main story.
Mm.
But yeah, it's gonna be a big exciting future for you.
Oh, fuck yeah. I might even record it.
Yeah, so yeah, do you have anything else going on in the games?
No, I'm good besides some stupid Call of Duty shit as always, but no, I think I'm good.
Okay. So yeah, make sure to follow us on Instagram, where we post movie reviews, and go to our TikTok where we post funny clips of the podcast and Let's Plays, which we started recording again, and we will start posting those. And yeah, go to our YouTube where we post our Let's Plays and our podcast and all the good stuff. So thanks for listening. Bye bye.
Bye bye.